What's happening? And welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to talk about that there's a scientific formula for success. And there's a scientific formula for just about anything and everything we probably want to do. And it's exact science. Like literally, I've been studying the Bible. The Bible talks about success. I've been studying a lot of successful people who write books, and everyone talks about success, and they talk about success in the way that they got it. So if the Bible talks about success, you've got your gurus, you've got your books, you got all these mechanisms around us talking about success. Then what is the formula for success? That's what we're going to talk about today on the podcast. So let me go all the way back. I'm going to go back to when this idea was presented. Is many years ago, probably we're in 2024. So probably 2018, maybe 2018. I picked up a book. I was on, it was 2018. I was listening to a successful person, Bob Proctor. If you don't know who he is, he's somebody successful. Bob Proctor, he did a book called You Were Born Rich. Right. And when I saw it, I got to buy this book, You Were Born Rich. Let me go read the book on being rich. Now, here's the thing about the book. The book wasn't just talking about getting rich with money. It was talking about how you are rich, right? You are rich in everything that you are and everything that you have. And that's scientific. How do we know that that's scientific? Well, that's where the Bible comes in, right? The Bible has all these cheat codes in it. You've got in Genesis, it talks about the cheat codes. You know what the cheat codes are in Genesis? You got cheat codes in Exodus, and you got cheat codes in Deuteronomy and Numbers. You got cheat codes all throughout the Bible. And here's what has plagued, I would say, religion. They don't understand the cheat codes. What? Yeah, religion does not understand the cheat codes. At least one of the religion I was in, I haven't discarded religion because there's people in there. The religion I was in, they didn't know the cheat codes. And what I discovered is the only codes that they gave us, what code they give you? They gave me, well, just don't do this, and just don't do this, and just don't do it. They didn't tell me how to do anything. They just told me not to do everything. It says, well, just don't do all the stuff that everybody else is doing. If you definitely don't fornicate, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, don't do all these things. Okay. What else, what can I do? The religion was very strict, right? Oh, we could, we go to church on Saturdays. And it was just like, well, we're going to church on Saturdays and you can't do anything. What you mean? Like, what can we do? It was always, you can't do something, but you get my point. It was always, you can't do it, but they didn't give us the can do's. They didn't say, you know what, you can be very successful in business and all you just by here's a passage and here's how you can apply it. What if they did that? It's scientific. Well, okay, wait. I'm not a scientist. So I was given some education on science. And there's a couple laws that we want to bring in here. The law of what? The law of inertia. You know what that law is? The law of inertia is an object at rest will stay at rest until acted upon by an outside force. So if you're not doing something, then you can't be successful. It's not happening. So let's think about that. If I wanted to be successful in business, the question is, well, the question is two questions. How should I be thinking about it? And then what should I do? The doing gets us the success. But most of us, I've been in inertia, right? And every day, unless I turn on my microphone and turn on the record button, I don't necessarily want to do a recording. But something happened when I started. I got out of my chair, proverbially. I got out of my chair and became a podcaster. I became a person who would share an idea on the internet. And I started to do the other law. What's the other law? It's called the law of momentum. Momentum is an object in motion, stays in motion until acted upon an outside force. Now, here's the thing about that outside force when it comes to momentum. I wish I don't have time to do that right now. So let's think about that. I want you to think about this. I'm gonna talk about it slow because I want you to think about it and picture it in your mind. I want you to picture getting started. I want you to picture getting started doing something that you weren't doing, because that's where inertia starts. You get started doing something, and then picture like a big a big rock or something heavy in front of you that in order to get started, you got to push it, right? And so if you push the rock, if it's heavy, it's probably going to be hard to push it, right? It's going to be hard to push it. So you then got to put a lot of force behind it. But what happens is once you start and you kind of start going, then all of a sudden it's just kind of going. And then it's going and it's going. And here's the thing. Once it's going, especially like say for instance, if you was pushing it up and then you start pushing and then it start coming down, it's not just going to stop just because another rock is in the way, another small rock. It's not going to stop because, just because, there's something small in front of it. In order for a momentum to stop, there has to be something much larger to stop it. Right. So when we think about that law of momentum, the law of momentum just says that once it's going, once you get something going, you don't want to stop. And this is the problem. So I was doing a push-up challenge. I started in January, posted on Facebook. A bunch of people joined. Push-up challenge. Some people got in first week, they was in, and then by the second week they were out. Some people stayed with me the whole month of January, and then some people stayed with me all of February. And so I posted March 1st. Oh, push-ups done. One of my friends was like, I thought that was February. I thought that was just last month. I said, I got too much. I'm saying to myself, I got too much momentum to stop. I haven't even gotten to the point. I haven't even gotten to the point in the process where I don't feel like I'm in momentum yet, because it's only been about 60 days. And because it's only been 60 days, then why am I going to stop? I got to get to 90, 120, 180, like two. I got to. Yeah, like why would I stop? See, a lot of times we get bored with doing good things. Say that with me. We get bored doing good things. See, if you get bored doing really good things, what happens is you look back and wonder, man, I should have kept doing that. Why did I stop doing it? Success, this is the part that you don't see it, because success is an inside job. It's an inside job. It's not an outside job, right? A lot of people, well, if I just do it. So I bought this book. I'm going to tell you in a second. Back in 2018, I bought this book. So I got Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich. And then he recommended another book. He recommended The Science of Getting Rich. I was like, they wrote books like this? There's a science. I was excited about this book. It's about 60 pages. And it was written like 1910, something like that. It's written a long time ago. And so it's written in an interesting dialect. It's not in the same dialect that I speak in, but it's a good book. So I'm reading this book, The Science, The Science, The Science. And here's what's interesting about a lot of these books. It's so simple. It's so simple. I'm reading it, I'm listening to it, I'm reading, I'm listening to it, I'm reading, I'm listening to it, and it's just going, it's going, it's going, it's going. And I stopped. In the book, it said, do something. It says, do not stop reading this book until you have become rich. Look, it's not about the money. Look, for me, here's what it's about. It's about impact. So if you have money, you can make an impact. I'm not saying you can't make an impact without it, but you're going to need money for anything you got to do. Like if you wake up today, you're going to look and you're going to see that there's money. Money has to be transacted all throughout your day somewhere. At least a couple times, probably, right? If you got to go to work, man, you got to get some gas, or I may have to pick up some food, or whatever. Like money's gonna be transacted. Oh, I got to pay the bill, or I got to pay for something. I got to pay for this and pay for that. I got to send money for that. So money is being transacted. So why wouldn't we want more of it? So I'm just like, yo, it told me to read the book until I was rich. Now here's the thing: I'm rich. I'm wealthy. I'm wealthy. Because wealthy is the whole piece. The last step is in the bank. Not I have to think it and I have to do certain things. It says, do not do not be around people who don't believe this stuff. Mm. Now that was challenging, right? Because you just can't get rid of people out of your life. It says, don't be around people who don't believe in getting rich. And it's and I get it. It says, don't go to church. He says, like in the book, he says, don't go to church where they don't believe this stuff. He says, because if you do, it tells you what's going to happen. Because most people have this idea about money that we shouldn't have any money. Oh man, it's not all about the money. Okay. I know it's all about the money. It's funny because my wife, oh, hey, Jenny, honey, I know she's going to watch this and she might say something, oh, that's about the money. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Because there's conversations that we can't get through because of the money. Like, oh, I want to do this, money. Oh, I want to go here, money. So it's about the money. Well, it's not really about. Yeah, it is, right? But what? Oh, okay. What if somebody wants to take advantage of you and not pay you the amount of money that you should be getting? Oh, you don't want that. So it's about the money. Let's not fool ourselves to think that money is not that important. Money is right up there with air. I remember when I heard that. Right up there. So in the book, The Science of Getting Rich is telling me you got to read the book every day, and you got to make sure you don't want to be. You just want to make sure you have your mind clear, because you have to get to a new frequency. There's a frequency for being successful, and when we're talking about, well, back up. There's people being rich. And every time I listen to someone who's gotten past where I'm at, I'm like, they make it sound so simple. So, you ever heard the phrase, it's easier to make a lot of money in a short amount of time than there is to make a lot of money over a long period of time? Have you ever heard that phrase? I remember when I heard it, I was like, huh? And I heard it again. It's easier to make a lot of money in a short amount of time than it is to make a lot of money over a long period of time. Think about it. If you made $1 million, would you be rich? Great. It depends is the answer. It depends on how long it took. Because a lot of people, my parents have made $1 million, but it took them 40 years to do it, probably more than 40. So if it takes you 40 years to make $1 million, are you rich? No, because there was no way to save it. And saving doesn't get you there. So if I make $1 million in 1 year, then I'm 40 times richer than that person. And it took them 40 years. Now I've actually got time and money. So in the book, it talks about this, and it talks about two specific things. Now there's a few ideas in this book, but I'm going to share two. It says, you must think. You must think in a certain way. Oh, so check this out. So remember, I on March the 2nd, I believe, March 2nd, on the podcast, it was the 3 steps for success, or whatever it was called. And you got to think. Like, one of the steps is think, right? You have to think. You got to write it down. But it says you got to think it, right? Because you got to first think a certain way. When we're talking about making more money in a month or in a week than I've ever made in a year, that's a different level, isn't it? Nod your head and say, yes, it's a different level. It's a different level. So we got to think a certain way. And then it says, well, you can't just think. See, because thinking in and of itself won't get you there. I agree, right? Can you think and grow rich? Absolutely. You can think and grow rich. But when we read the book, Think and Grow Rich, it does talk, you got to do something. You got to actually do things. And then in Science of Getting Rich, it says what? It says think, then it says act. You must act a certain way. Wow. So now I must have sufficient and efficient action, because if I'm doing the wrong actions, then it's not going to be good. But if I know the right actions to do, then I can do them. This is probably the biggest hang up for those who are trying to, and I say trying, actually working towards, is knowing See, is actually knowing that they're doing the right things. And the thing about knowing and doing the right things is that a lot of times you just got to do it long enough. You just have to do it long enough for it to work. And and for many of us, it just depends on what it is that we're building for, right? We've talked about building a foundation, and a foundation of something is what is what's needed in order for the thing to be built. So if we have a really good foundation for something, then we can stick on top of it what we want. But if the foundation is shot, then what'll happen is you stick something on top of it and then it falls apart. So our thinking has to develop the foundation so that our doing can develop what needs to be built. So is there a science, a real formula for being successful or being rich? Absolutely. And here's what I can tell you. If you decide, like if you know that you're doing something and no matter how small it is, it's working. You're gaining momentum from it. This is like health has been the one stable area in my life that helps me to continue to build momentum because it does a couple of things. I do things that hurt. I do things that are challenging. I do things that mess with my mind, meaning, is it working? I got to keep going. And what it does is it gives me a baseline. It gives me a baseline for success. Literally, there's not a day that I'm not. I'm person successful every day that I wake up. So even if, say for instance, if I didn't meet a financial goal, I'm still successful today because I got something else. I got something else that I was successful doing. So I won't beat myself up over, oh man, I missed the mark. Oh, but it doesn't matter because I'm successful. I did them 500 push-ups. I went to the gym. I did the run. I did the walk. Man, I did the steps. Man, I'm on a roll with the podcast. Man, I have successful things that I am super successful. I'm one of the most successful people you ever meet. Well, how do I know that? Because there's things that I do that I'm just a success at. I'm gonna be a success this year in YouTube. I'm gonna wind up with over 100,000 subscribers this year, from like 100 and something, last year. I'm going to wind up actually making money on YouTube this year. And I'm going to wind up, here's what's interesting. Like right now we're building the subscribers and, we don't have, now I'm working on, now that the idea is to get people to watch longer, to get you to watch 18 minutes, 20 minutes. That's how successful I know I am because things are actually working. Things working. Now here's the thing. What do you want to be successful doing? Well, that's the question. What do you want to be successful doing? See, because we can't be successful without doing something. So let's go back to where we started. Where did we start today? We started at science. What is this scientific formula? The science of success starts with first inertia. You're not successful or you're not doing something, right? You want to be something, you want to have something, then we got to do something, right? So right now you might be in inertia. Inertia is an object at rest, stays at rest. So check this out. I'm gonna just share a quick story about my wife. She was kind of like hobbling around yesterday. And I'm just like, I said, that workout you did on Sunday got you. She's like, man. I said, see, the thing about it is, she said, man, I like when you do a workout and you don't do it enough, what'll happen is every time you do it, it'll feel like it'll feel like you just started again. I learned that lesson, right? I learned that lesson from a number of things, right? So usually the key is, especially with working out, you want to be training all muscles on a regular basis so that you don't stay sore. You're gonna be sore, but you don't want to stay sore. Like the next time you do it, you don't want to be as sore. Right? You can get sore, but it just doesn't have to stay as long. She's hobbling around. I'm like, wow, yeah, man, I thought I was doing this, but I just haven't done it enough. So it was like being in inertia. She had not done enough of this workout where when she was done, she's not in pain. That same thing with the push-ups. So what happens is that law of inertia, but now you're going, like you got the pain going. Don't stop. Build up momentum because you start doing it more frequent. This is the science. It just gets started. And then as you get started, keep doing it and do it over and 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 over till you gain the momentum that you're looking for in that doing. Don't stop. Here's the thing. You're doing something, then you can go and add something else in. But don't add until you gain momentum doing something else. You got to gain momentum first. So that's the science, guys. And then the last thing that we're going to add to that we already shared, is the thinking and actions. The thinking and the actions. The thinking starts the process, and then the actions, the doing, is what makes you successful. If you don't do the actions, you can't be successful. And you're going to suck. Guys, I still suck. I still suck at videos and podcasting. Like I'm not great. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it because I'm not going to allow myself to believe that I can't get better tomorrow. And what I'm discovering is that I keep getting a little bit, just a little bit better, not a lot. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this until I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to ever stop. I don't care if people are upset. I don't care if people start saying things on my videos, like some, I've gotten some of these, right? Oh, it's working. Hadn't gotten any of these. It wasn't until I started posting the real short ones. I had to graduate. Okay, I got these long ones, but most people are not going to watch a long video. So I start posting the minute videos. In those minute videos, people are watching them. Had some people giving me this. Yes. It just means that, hey, I'm getting in the marketplace where people are. So guys, there's a scientific formula for all of us. Your formula may be different from mine because you may be doing something different. But here's the thing. Get started. Start the business. Start the health journey. Start the relationship. Start whatever you have to start. And start doing what you need to do so that you can start gaining momentum, so that you can build build momentum for your life, for your business, for whatever it is that you're looking to do. So guys, I'm telling you, stay with us here. Stay with us here on the podcast. We are here to help you to account for your life, your business. We also just want to make sure that if there's anything that you have a topic, hey man, can you say a little bit more about this? Make sure you comment and let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to talk about, especially when it comes to kingdom entrepreneurship, health, the Bible, and any of those topics, taxes. I don't normally talk taxes here, but if you want videos on like I got some videos on taxes, we're going to be doing more of those. But if you want to know more about taxes, and especially for business owners, this is for business owners, follow the channel so you can get those videos and get all that content so that you can upload your life and your business. So guys, I appreciate you for joining. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell a friend, let somebody know that, hey man, there is a scientific formula for success, and go check Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, on YouTube. God bless you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the Healthy Accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.